Hi, welcome to a stream. We're starting right at 3:31, so we're a minute late. We're going to blame Kim for that.
Ah, he's not blaming me?
What?
Well, I don't know.
He always blames me. He says he can't get me out of
Well,
my
it's
dressing room.
share the love, right? Kim's, Kim hasn't been on a stream much. You've been on a couple. You come by twice.
I do cameos.
And she was a floating head once.
She was a floating head once, which was kind of cool. We should have done that for Halloween, though. That would have been great.
That would have been pretty good.
And now we have green Spark shirts.
We do.
Oh.
So
it'd be floating and all you'd see is
That's
Project
right.
Spark in the air. We're going to have to try that. We're going to be getting in a new green screen. We're all pitching our pennies together to buy one. So my name's Mike Lascombe, the community manager for Team Dakota. I'm here with Henry Sturchy, who is the creative director, and Kim McAuliffe, who is a senior game designer, right?
That's correct.
And we're here to talk about Project Spark. We're going to focus on Crossroads, which is one of the areas of Project Spark, one of the things that we've done to kind of let everybody get in and be able to create right away. I know a lot of the streams we focus on kind of the more in-depth stuff, some of the brains and things like that. And I think that's a lot because our kind of hardcore folks are really into that and want to see it. But I don't want people to get the idea that you really need to do all that to create, because it can be overwhelming at first, at least when you first see it and don't try it. So Crossroads is a way that you can get in and shows you how to very easily go and build something, and then you can do it. So right now Henry's kind of doing his little intro, and if you notice, I don't see a U-shaped hill.
No, I'm on something completely different. Not even close to normal. So Project Spark is an open world sandbox where you can play, create, share things with the world, pretty much make your imagination come to life. Make your own games, movies, stories, and more. It'll be available on Windows 8.1, Xbox 360, and Xbox One, and we have a beta coming very, very soon, hopefully anytime now. So you can see here I can, in real-time 3D, I can change and I can sculpt the terrain. I can go ahead and I can paint the terrain. I can use this paint, we call it sticky mode, but it automatically wraps around the surfaces. It's also contextual, so it paints the sides a different color than it does the tops and the bottoms. And I'm able to use what we call our biome brush to just fill in our world very quickly. Here I'm using an Xbox 360 controller on our Windows build, and our biome brush allows us to use different sizes, so I can put in bigger trees, smaller trees, and all types of cool stuff. I can also go ahead and go in, aside from just sculpting the world, and I can just go ahead and put down objects and things really quickly, and they all have sort of default behaviors and AI and brains, and you can go into those things and change them and remix them and manipulate them and do all different things to them. So you can see here I made this little world, and I can just hop right in and test. My little character here has a default brain. He can swim, he can jump, he can run, he can dodge, walk over this little bridge. All of these objects sort of behave as you expect. But if you want, you can go ahead and go into them, and you can do different things to them. So I'm going to go into this bridge's brain, and you can see here there's a when and a do side. This is our visual programming language that we can do. So I'm going to tell this bridge that when it detects the player, I want it to do something. So I'm going to go to do, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say I want it to jump. And you can see very easily I can just add something, and it'll give me suggestions. So I can say different types of movement properties on top of that, and all those types of things. So let's see what happens now when the bridge detects my player. You may or may not jump. Let's see. And oh, why didn't it work? Boo! Did it just jump? Oh, there it is. Now it's detecting me. Whoa! So now the bridge is jumping. I wasn't on the bridge enough for it to detect me. So I can make the detection sensor much bigger or smaller. But basically the bridge has a range, it has a trigger volume, and it has a C volume, and it can do all types of fun stuff. So that's our quick intro to Project Spark. One of the really cool things that we've showed a bunch of times is that you can create your own animations and bring them to life, your own facial expressions and voice with Xbox One and Kinect, and you can make your own little movies and cinematics. So I'm going to kick off Crossroads and let Kim give people some backstory on what Crossroads is.
Kim, can you talk a little bit about what you do? They're just kind of asking what you do on the team.
Real quick, before people say something, the audio here is being worked on. The voiceover is placeholder. It's all being worked on, so just keep that stuff in mind. We're a work in progress.
Okay, so first you wanted to hear about what I do.
Yeah.
And then Crossroads. Okay, so I'm one of the game designers on Team Dakota, working on Project Spark. I have a lot to do with Crossroads, which we're about to take a look at, and also the tutorial system. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you could have upsold that. And,
Yeah.
You know, I would have said it differently. You know,
That's right.
the new user experience and blah blah
That's
blah, and
true.
all these different words that would have said the exact same thing, but people would be like, "Wow, that sounds impressive." But yeah, so Kim's like actually involved in. She's involved in a lot of other stuff. I think she's kind of selling herself short on that, but she's going to be able to talk us through kind of Crossroads, like what the intent is, how it works, what they're going through, maybe even a little bit about sort of the decisions that went into it and the goals that went through that the team are always wrestling with to get this experience to be as polished as we want.
Yeah, so like Mike was saying, Crossroads is a way to sort of dive in and immediately experience Project Spark. Like maybe you haven't made a game before, you're a little intimidated. You can see right now Henry's playing with the terrain. You can choose between 4 different kinds of terrain. And then you also have a lot of flexibility within those choices to play with these analog choice options here at the bottom. You can change the water height, you can change the river width, you can change the bumpiness of the terrain.
So one of the key things for Project Spark, like we showed, you being able to iterate really quickly and jump in and out, is it's really important for us that playing is creating. So just the act of creating is a fun thing to do. Making games and experimenting it. You know, when I think about like the loop that we talk about, it is really have an idea, experiment, and then try what you just did, and then have another idea, and then experiment. So Crossroads is a really good sort of synergy of all of that. It allows people to play, create, and you can do both of those things just by making choices. So Kim, talk about some of the land choices we have here, maybe in the shuffle, and you know, people haven't seen this in a long time. So even for those who have seen it before, like what's different and what's new?
So, if you haven't seen this in a long time, we have a lot more customization available to you. Like Henry was saying, we have a shuffle, so we have 4 different options. If you don't like the first 3, you can hit the X button to shuffle and see some of the others. And then you have a lot of flexibility, like with mountains, to change the mountain, the peak height, the valley height. You can change your water level.
So you think about the infinite possibilities here, right? Where you're not just picking from 3 choices. You get to really set a lot of things to really give the feel for whatever you're trying to create with your game experience.
All right, so I just picked hills. And now, right now, we only have this one choice in this build. We had an issue with some of the stuff in the build. So we've got the one choice forest. But as different biomes and things like that are added to the game, once we get things working again, as you may have seen yesterday in the World Wizard, we had desert in here already and stuff like that. So you'll be able to very quickly make tons of different choices just about the aesthetic look of your world.
And within these biomes, you have a few more options. You can change the shore height and the peak height, so you can get a little bit of snow in your world if you want.
I think I gotta go pretty low because I have low hills here. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get too much of it.
Well, like you're on shore.
Oh yeah. There we go.
Yeah, you may not get it.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Way to go, Henry.
Oh, look, snow.
Oh, there you go.
That's the other one. There we go.
Oh, sweet.
So we'll leave in our little patches of snow.
Good.
So after you make those choices, you see that you continually get different choices. And sometimes when you make a choice, it actually affects the next choice that is presented to you, or things that happen in the game. So it's a bunch of different like consequences and things that happen.
Yeah. The choices you make early on will have an effect on things later in the game. Right now, Henry is showing you the different times of day that you can pick between, and then also some of the color treatments, the visual filters that we have.
Henry, when you get a chance, can you just speak to the difference between this and World Wizard? Some people are asking, like...
Yeah, so World Wizard is about essentially filling in your world very quickly and getting jump-started with something that you want to create. We don't do a ton of work filling in like actual actions or tons of gameplay or things like that for you. It's just a really quick way to get jump-started into your creation. Crossroads is an actual experience. So you can see there's a narration that's going over it. It's about sort of telling your story and bringing that to life. And most importantly, you'll see as we go past some of these choices that are the same as World Wizard, you'll see all new ones. They're all gameplay focused. And actually the things you do while you're playing start to branch out and start to make your choices. So that's the big difference. Crossroads is a mode you play and you create while you play. World Wizard is a tool to help you get started on your creating. All right, so let's pick... stuff today for this playthrough, and maybe we'll do another one where we do some different choices. I always love messing around with this, just messing with the sun angle. This is a great mode to really make you feel very sort of godlike, and that you can make really sweeping changes. We always like to bring up the brightness. The art group loves that. But you can see there's just a lot of power in some of these analog choices, because you can really put your own sort of spin or identity on what you want to build.
And just for anybody kind of joining in, so this is running on the this is the Windows 8. This is on a Windows 8 PC, Windows 8 with 8.1, of course. And this is actually a fresh build. This is this morning's or yesterday's build. So this is a new build, which is why some things are in, some things aren't. And he's using a Xbox 360 controller for the PC to control it. And of course, this will be on Xbox One, Xbox 360, and Windows 8. And it will have Smart Glass functionality on the Xbox One, but obviously Smart Glass is not required to play the game.
Except for Tuesdays.
Except for Tuesdays.
No, not even on Tuesdays. So this is something that's really cool, and where you start getting into the difference between the World Wizard and Crossroads.
So what you're looking at right now is you're defining the kind of game you want to make. Do you want to make a defense game?
I love that little dog.
Yeah.
Still trying to destroy that building.
He's working really hard at that.
Yeah.
Do you want to make more of an adventure? Do you want to make more of a resource gathering game? For this, we're going to pick adventure.
And as we've talked about, we're going to be adding lots and lots of stuff in the future. Different things will start to come in, and we want to eventually start, utilizing lots of different genres and different options there.
So this first choice you're making now for your adventure is where you want your hero to live. And each of these choices has some gameplay associated with it for you to discover.
So I love this part. Just moving it around the world and watching it react.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is you can do stuff like here, there's some uneven terrain. I can just go ahead and I can put that down there, and it'll start to fill in. What
cool.
Time for the square.
So the next choice is what's in the center of your town. Like, you're going to build out this village, but what is their most central, like, prized location? And it's like Henry's going for the well, and now you're picking your hero.
Okay, so this next part here is something we haven't talked about before. So, a lot of people have talked about, like, how many different ways are there into the game, or, how can I get into this, and maybe I don't want to just jump right into creation. So we've talked about things like you can go ahead and jump in and play other people's creations and other people's levels and stuff like that. But one of the cool things, in addition to just Crossroads in general, is Crossroads includes what we call champions. So champions are specific characters that we've created. They're entirely playable. They come with a bunch of skills, a bunch of properties, and different attributes. They have their own sort of personalities. They have a bit of a backstory. And you can play through Crossroads with these characters. You can use these characters to make your own creations and make your own kind of user-generated content. So you'll be able to take Scarlet, which is already a fully playable character with a bunch of cool skills, drop that into one of your creations, and just use that to get a head start. The other cool thing is a lot of people talk about things like, we call Carl's Nor Carl here, so everybody loves Carl.
They do.
So we talk about just being able to like see these game mechanics that we've already built and inspire people to build scenarios, adventures, challenges, and things like that off of these mechanics we've already made for you. And we want to make sure that people have a great experience from the get-go. They've got these cool playable characters. Now, this is just the beginning, just like everything else that we show you, and just like everything else with beta. These champions are going to evolve. We've got a ton of really cool stuff planned for these, and you'll see more of them.
Lots of cool stuff.
But it's a great way to just jump in and start playing. So let's see. We're going to go through both, but let's pick Scarlet for now.
Can you talk about the statue thing, or is that verbatim?
Yeah, so, I mean,
I thought it was cool when I heard it.
It's just a logistical thing, but essentially when you want to use a champion in your level, because they already have our gameplay built into them, instead of dropping in a character, you drop in this statue.
Right.
So it's just a differentiation.
So you drop in the
So
statue,
you're using our character.
and that means that this official character will now be in that level, which is, I think, is really cool. So.
Yep. So maybe we can give you a quick overview of what everybody's seeing here on screen now that we're in the game part.
So the first thing you're seeing here, to your left is a question mark. That's going to be a building that you can create and decide what goes in your village.
What vision?
And you have a few different options here, all of which you can come back and visit later when you get more money.
Buns are certainly fresh.
Henry has chosen the bakery.
The bakery.
The bakery's always working hard. So each one of these choices you make affects your game, affects other choices. Here, because I picked the bakery, there's actually little power-ups that I can go here through the shop and buy for later on, so I can view their menu, ideally. So we've got a little bit of a floating text thing going on.
Yeah.
But you can see here that you can choose different things. We'll add different choices to the store as we go. So here's a power berry pie. And they do different little power-ups for you that affect your game.
Now I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, that looks good, doesn't it? So some of the cool things about the champions is, like I said, they already have their own built-in gameplay. So here I can just push the X button, and it'll do a nice little auto-aim strike. I can push the Y button, and these are these little Caltrop power crystals that we call Codite. I can push the X button and hold it in and do a charge shot, or I can charge shot onto these little Codite crystals and shoot those things out at people. I can hit the B button, and I can do this little decoy move that enemies will get attracted to, and I can do things like sneak up behind them and get a different vantage point, or drop out of the battle. I have my little double jump move. I can jump and throw the caltrops in the air. I can jump and shoot in the air. So there's a bunch of little gameplay things that are already built in.
And tutorial for all this is on these little glowing signs here next to the dummies.
Now, keep in mind, again, another great thing about Crossroads is at any time you can go in here and you can create straight off of this. So you can edit anything you want, take these barrels out, scale things up, scale things down, manipulate the world in 3D, add your own brains, add your own visual programming to anything. So again, like, this is a great way, if you want, to start making your own game and start diving in.
Right, and you got all the structure here, so if you're like, I just want to change and have these guys say wacky stuff or, you know, make up my own quest, you can do that instead of starting with a blank slate. Just jump in, use what's here, and go and create your world.
So here I've activated the sort of town mayor, the healer in this case, that starts off the next part of your quest. So Project Spark does use Connect. It uses this for several different things,
Damn it, I was
voice
just typing
commands
that.
and shortcuts. It uses it for bringing your own actions and your own motion capture. So you can record your own facial animations, full body animations and voice, and put them into the game as in-game animations or little cinematics and movies and cutscenes and all types of stuff.
Yeah, but it's not required, right? People ask about Connect, and I know a lot of times the press, you see that that's a really kind of cool feature. So that's what gets a lot of press play. But you know, the core game is what's going to be available on Win 8, Xbox 360, and Xbox One, and that's really what we're doing here. That's just sort of an add-on that you get with the Xbox One, and a good reason to buy one.
So here I picked my enemies that are raiding our village, and this is sort of the introduction to combat and the beginning of your creation. So here these bandits are attacking our well.
Yeah.
And you can see our well's been poisoned. So I'm going to go ahead and take on these enemies. We're very aggressive right now.
Yeah.
And as I defeat the enemies, you can see they're dropping coins. So this was a little bit of a small sample, a preview, a little bit of an attack on our village. And they dropped some coins, and now I need to seek the healer for an update and see how, see what the next part of my quest is. So as I hop into here and I make different choices, the bandits do different types of things, they have different types of gameplay, and they start affecting things. So now, this character is telling me, well, they've poisoned the well and we need something. So I can let the game choose randomly, or I can choose.
Yeah. Now this is another way for you to tell your own story and decide what it is that you're going to go look for.
So let's go after the mystery meat.
Yeah, I'm really curious how they're going to use the meat to fix the poisoned water.
That's true. So we will find it in the... So some of the things you can do if you want, you can go in and start editing your own dialogue and do different types of stuff. So here I'm choosing the sort of the location
The
where...
destination.
The destination.
Yeah.
So this is sort of where that choice culminates. So what's a good one here? So we go with the quarry?
Yeah.
All right, so let's go with the quarry. And then I can put this wherever I want. So I could put this really close and make something that's maybe quick and easier, or I can put this really far and I'll be able to do things like expand my world and things like that later on. So I'm going to put this down, and now we're doing some cool stuff.
So one of the questions in chat, they want to know, like, they're asking about their own questions, like how much of what is built here and what you have here is done with Project Spark? In other words, what are you doing here? What are they seeing here that they couldn't do themselves? Or could they actually create their own Crossroads of sorts?
Yeah, you could. I mean, we give you Crossroads so you can go in and remix it.
Yeah.
But, you know, for the most part, all of this stuff is created with the tools. So this is sort of a mode or a game created with Project Spark.
So what I'm hearing is that if people don't like Kim's Crossroads, they can make their own and try to make it better?
Yeah. And, you know, some of the things that we saw is it's a really nice... So, for example, if you go through this quickly, it's a really nice, quick way to get started in your own game and sort of peel back from there in like just a couple minutes. If you want to really dive into this, what I'm doing right now is I'm drawing my own path, and I can put that anywhere I want around the world. And I'm picking these little side quest question marks along the way, but I'm drawing this path in my game. And what's amazing is as Spark goes along the path, he's dropping in gameplay. So that could be little platform events, little puzzles that show up, these side quests that get activated, enemies just automatically generate and populate. So as you're doing this, your game is sort of unfolding in front of you, and you're able to manipulate. So where should we go here? So let's build some more town buildings, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
And then I'm collecting coins. Those are automatically showing up. My health is automatically showing up. At any point, I have a little marker if I want to start kind of pointing the way. So here's a fun one. So this is the sheriff's office. And I fell through the world into the water.
That's a new one.
So this is one of the fun things that happens when you start to play live. So we probably will have to restart.
Well, you know, if these things didn't happen, people wouldn't think... They'd say, well, look, he's just running a video.
And if they didn't happen, they may already have had the beta.
You really know it's live. One of the things that I wanted to say really quick, you know, Mike keeps saying this is Kim's Crossroads. There's a whole team of people working on Crossroads doing amazing work. This is by far not...
So let's do
Just
River.
All right, so the credit goes to all those folks, but any blame goes right to Kim. Are we okay with that?
That's how we do things.
That is how things go.
That's kind of the context of everything I say in this.
And our design rule is it doesn't matter whose idea it was, it's who pitched it the best.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, or who pitched it last.
Sometimes that happens.
Right. Or who pitched it on the right day when people are in the right mood.
All right, so maybe we'll go. Should we play maybe one of the filters here too? So I'll do morning, and then maybe we'll show.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, because people were asking about that.
We'll do morning, and then
stuff.
maybe we'll do one of the filters after this.
Yeah, earlier I was doing the kind of sepia filter. It's like playing in an old western.
So one of the things you'll see here is the world is sort of procedurally generated, so you'll get a little bit of a different world every time. And another cool thing here is I'm zipping through some of the choices to get us back where we were. Somebody said they liked the forest huts, so we'll put that down. You'll get little different things and different stuff will pop up based on the terrain, so we'll show you that when we draw the path. Pick the well again, because I want to know what happened to the well. Let's close it.
You should go talk to Squeaker.
Okay. All right, so I put the well down. We've got the healer here, so should I go there first or go to the healer?
Go over to your left here, or yeah, your left. Back a little bit more.
What's your choice?
What do you envision?
Now I'm gonna have to pick. I can't decide.
Pawn shop? Why is there a pawn
I'm
shop?
not gonna do the sheriff's office again because I think we know what happened.
Let's
there.
not do the sheriff's
So let's
office.
do the workshop.
I just want to know why there's a pawn shop. Like, what are they pawning?
There's always, you know.
You never know.
never
Like
know.
there's people in the town. They're desperate.
All right, so
I
let's
guess,
talk.
wow.
So let's talk to this little guy here.
So this guy comes along with the treehouse, and if you like, he'll follow you and beat up all your enemies for you. It's actually pretty convenient as Scarlet because he'll sit there and tank for you, so you
That's
can
cool.
hit from a distance.
And there's a lot of little gameplay elements that by playing this over again and stuff like that, you'll see a lot of different types of things happen. You'll see new choices, and you'll see different sort of like reactions to what you've done or different things. So maybe we should try let's try the bandits again and keep consistent on our first playthrough because we might actually have enough time to go through this again. Yeah, because we started at 3:30 today, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
As far as you know.
Thanks, Mike.
So bandits being jerks, poisoning the well.
And each of the characters have their own little storyline too. Like the bandits will do something specific because it's the well, but they'll do something different when you make a different choice, right?
Yeah.
Let's get the count drop. Wow. So there they are going after my little squirrel.
Squeaker's tanking for you.
I gotta win. I feel bad now. Don't kill the squirrel. You know, I have to say though, every time we use the squirrel to create, people are like, "Can you set it on fire? Can you make it explode?" I don't know what that's
We
all
did that
about.
on Tuesday's stream. We had to wait to a stream that Henry wasn't on, and
All right.
Eddie did that.
So let's not pick the rotten meat this time. let's pick the potion. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You can make nonsense. You can make nonsense. Like
Yeah.
that's part of
Hey, it
the
all
idea
makes
around
sense
Project
somehow.
Spark. Is if you want to make nonsense, you can do that.
Treasure will lift your village's trouble.
And should we go with? Let's go with the.
Party.
Well, let's stay. with it.
Party's good.
All right.
I like
So we
the
put on this
waterfall.
little. So here's a good example of I'm going to put it in the water, and it's just going to work. I'm just going to put it down, and then what's really cool is, as I talked about before, the path sort of automatically does things for you. So I'm going to draw the path here over this, and it's just going to put in some little bridges for me, and a bunch of different types of stuff. And I didn't activate any side quests
You
because I
didn't.
epic failed.
You're gonna have to come back.
I am. So we'll have to do it again to show some of the side quests. So as I go through here,
Actually, maybe no.
maybe I can force activate them.
No, that's a building. Sorry.
So I can go through here, and I can put some more stuff down in the town.
A pawn shop?
We'll put the pawn shop since everybody's wondering what that was all about. So you can see here I can go ahead and I can sell items here. I can go over to this person. I can buy different items. I can upgrade my swords. I can upgrade my bow. I can upgrade my weapons as I go. So as I'm traveling around, you'll see these little teleporters. And the teleporters are sort of all over the world, and they'll bring you back to this little town. And I like to think about it a little bit like sort of like your hub in Diablo or something like that.
Right.
So anytime you want to go back to town and buy stuff, you can do that. Now I can follow this quick little path that I made, or I can go off the beaten path here, and I didn't
You
mean to do
actually
that.
totally should. You should.
And I can do some stuff like that. So here's this giant little explosion farm.
Would that say danger?
Yeah.
I might be able to put that into a fight if that ends up spawning or something like that, and have it like explode and work in my my encounter. Or here's a little teleporter. So for some reason we're not getting a ton of enemies around the path, but here's something fun. So here's a little wishing well that just happened to come up, and I can throw a coin in the well. Let's see what happens.
I haven't seen this.
Let's see. Ah.
Yeah, you're kind of cheap, so nothing happens.
All right. So I want to throw more in. Is what you're saying?
Well, dude, why you gotta hold back, man?
All right, all 5 coins.
It's a
You
spirit
actually-
of giving.
you don't
I'm
have-
doubling down.
That still may not be enough. Let's see.
I'm doubling down. All or nothing.
Well, maybe he'll get lucky.
All right, and let's see. Whoa, I got something. So I can either have it automatically give me a surprise, or I can pick something, which I do.
Yeah, let's see what wishes are available today.
All right, so let's see. So what could I want? Oh, a pile full of coins.
Oh wow! I would
Alright.
be at the well all day
So
throwing
there
in
we
coins.
go. So now I've got. So let's go
Yeah.
back to town,
Now you can buy anything you
and
want.
let's pick something up. So here you can see there's a B button prompt.
Oh, you got an acorn.
I picked up a little acorn, and there's a little quest where there's some lost squirrels and stuff like that, and
No,
there's
you're
some,
just roaming all around.
yeah, and there's some things where I can just throw acorns at them. So I can go back to town, and you know, if I would have lost, it would have went right back to the pawn shop because you know I would have had no money. So so the store's out of items right now. What else did we buy? Did we buy the workshop?
You did.
I think I might have put down the workshop.
You did,
That's
yeah.
a treehouse.
I think I put it over.
I just wonder what they were selling in the pawn shop. I mean, it's not like it's stereos.
Well, you never
or-
know. Don't you watch like that show on TV? So I can upgrade my ranger's bow for 10 coins and do an additional 30% damage. That seems like a pretty good deal. So let's pick that up. And then this guy's going to go ahead and he's going to make this little bow for me. And again, you can use some of this stuff and you can start using this as objectives and things like that, or getting some inspiration. And now for 15 coins, I can upgrade my bow again. But let's go ahead and let's take a flyer on that and see maybe what we can do next. So unfortunately, it looks like I made my path small, and we didn't get any enemies to drop. But as you drive this path around, little mini bosses can pop up, more bandits will pop up in the world, and different enemy types and stuff like that.
There'll also be some wandering NPCs with some story elements.
And you can see there's lots of little areas outside here to explore, and there'll be little quests and stuff that happen out there. But if at any time I want to go straight to my objective, I can hit the left trigger, and that'll always show me where my end goal is to sort of complete this quest.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
Alright, so here I am on my way to the quarry, and let's see what happens now.
Which treasure will lift your village's
So we can have
Only some
few guards, some guards, or all the
A
guards.
lot of guards.
I upgraded my bow. Should I feel lucky?
You should go for it.
Alright, let's go for it. So I'm going to epic fail and lose here. Let's see. We've got some very angry bandit guards here guarding the quarry and the potion that we're looking for our quest. So my little squirrel buddy's hopping in. Let's throw down some of our caltrops, slow everybody down, do some cool attacks. The squirrel is freaking amazing at
Have you
decoying
played
these
this
guys.
before, Henry?
I have. So I can actually throw down my own decoy.
Oh, that is neat.
I start to get different kind of vantage.
So that's one of the
points,
abilities the
attract
champion
people.
has.
Whoa, this guy is aggressive.
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
So again, you know, all of the stuff, are things that you can go in and you can edit yourself. They were created with the tools that you can use to create your own stuff. And you know, this is obviously a build in progress, as you saw from our earlier bug. So again, there's a bunch of really cool things that you can do and you can modify and add to this stuff yourself. So this guy here is this guy here is fighting a bunch of ranged characters. So you can see they've got a bit of a turret effect.
Whoa, you walked right into that one.
Do another decoy. Pop over to here. Charge some of these caltrops. Let go a big shot, and there we go. All right, so I took parts. Now I'm going to choose our boss. So you can see there's a bunch of different choices, including a crate of rabid squirrels, of course. Why wouldn't there be a?
Why wouldn't there be one?
Why wouldn't there be a crate of rabid squirrels? So let's see. What do you think, Goblin Chieftain?
Yeah.
All right, so let's take this guy on. And you can see here, this guy's actually a pretty good choice for me because I wanted to look pretty good. Ranged characters are pretty good against this goblin. We can show you when we use Carl that essentially we have Scarlet, our ranged character, and you can see one of the bugs is I've managed to lose my bow. And Carl is a melee character, so it gives you kind of a whole different fight dynamic. This guy's sort of staying at a distance, and he's throwing some stuff, and it's really easy to start a counter. So you can see here's my decoy he went for. Now let me get behind him, throw some more caltrops down. And it's really easy to keep this guy sort of at a distance because he's that type of a character. But some of the other characters are really aggressive and they'll come right at you and they'll be a lot more difficult melee ones. Alright, so let's see. You can see he's got a cool attack.
Whoa, that was neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get some more of these to power up my bow. And again, one of the cool things is like you can go in and modify some of the properties of the characters and things like that. And when you make your own game, you can do anything you want with these characters and bosses. And there we go. So, just like that, you've got all these paradigms. Now I've got this little key, and I can go ahead and open my treasure chest, and I've got my potion.
Sweet.
Oh, there was a cool exploding box I could have used. And then I've got my teleporter, so I can run back to town, do some more quests, save up for some more money, or go ahead and hop in the teleporter. So here I'm going to hop in. I'm going to go ahead and deliver this. And they celebrate me for finding the potion.
Yay!
And there we go. So some of the ideas is that
that's cool.
you can replay this. It kind of gives you some different scores and criteria around what you found, what you didn't find. And also one of the cool things is when you exit this, it's very easy to go ahead and you've sort of made your first game. You can save this, but it also gives you a little story. So after the bandits poisoned the village water well, Scarlet journeys through the wetlands. So it's actually taking your choices and it's telling a little story as you go. And then I could very quickly name this and then just save this right up, and I've got my own little quest that I made from my choices.
Great, so you've created your first level in Project Spark, and now you can go by and edit the things and build upon it and improve it.
Yeah, so there we go. So let's hop out and give Kim a run.
Yeah.
And maybe we can see some of the different choices and filters and stuff like that. So again, this is a mode that will be evolving. You know, we talked about when we showed the Haunted Cornfield content, that when you get that content, it expands some of the choices in here. One of the cool things is it adds a scarecrow boss for you to fight. It adds another little side quest, which I completely failed on showing you guys.
Right.
Kim will completely succeed at that.
Can you talk about that? So when somebody gets a content pack like Haunted Cornfield, now in Crossroads, that's now going to be another option that they can choose from, right?
Yeah, so the idea is all of the stuff that we want to add to the game, it's all about playing and creating. So we really want to make sure that the stuff we add has elements that enhance play and creation. And you'll see when you look through these things, they'll affect different choices, different bosses. You'll be able to add additional kind of champions and characters and stuff like that.
Yeah, that is cool. That's very compelling.
We did day and morning.
Done day and morning. It's also evening. Or do we want to play with the filters?
I think we should do the filters. And for those joining us, they'll be like, "What is this black and white game in 2013?"
Yeah. So I don't know. I like antique. It's kind of like playing in the Old West.
We can even maybe expand this at some point to get the little scratch.
Yeah.
You can have a little scratch filter so it looks like an old movie, like an old talkie. I just love that effect. When Spark drives into the world and just randomly generates it
Yeah.
out. Like I love watching this.
Actually, I love watching.
The goblin die.
Yeah.
It's so satisfying.
Can you talk a little bit about Spark, like as the character? I noticed you kind of said that a couple times, and chat's picking up on that. What's the
Yeah, so you see Spark here is flying around. So Spark is sort of a conduit to creation. If you think about where does some of these creation powers come from and stuff like that, we manifest a lot of them through Spark. So the idea is that Spark will hit the terrain and really cool effects will come from Spark, and the choices sort of generate from Spark. So Spark is this fun sort of character, sort of ball of energy that is all about creation. And what we really love about Spark is that Spark sort of is this thing that empowers people to feel like anything can happen. And, you know, things can be anything that you want them to be and see different things in them. So Spark is there for the ride, and Spark is helping, and Spark is doing really cool things. And you guys, when you jump into beta, you'll see a lot of more cool stuff around Spark. And you could actually take the stuff that we use to make Spark and make some games with Spark.
That's cool.
And Spark is my digital avatar.
It is. It's Henry in digital form.
So we're going to go for the Berserker!
Yeah, this time we're going to go for Carl.
How's this going to work?
And again, Carl has a completely different set of skills.
So Carl's a melee guy. You can see he's also rage based. So the more he attacks, the more his rage meter builds up, and eventually he goes into this like fury state.
Oh, it's all red when you're not in the antique filter.
Oh yeah.
And when he's in the fury state, it alters some of his other moves. So now he has
Yeah.
like a super spin move,
Yeah.
and it starts to heal him, and it does additional damage. And then he's got these cool daggers, and when the daggers hit enemies, he automatically bleeds them and does a damage over time effect. So again, it's not just about like giving these cool characters a way to play, but it's also about like providing these cool game mechanics, because we really want people to sort of learn. If you look at like what your choices are, we've tried to structure the choices in a logical manner that makes sense for a story and for a game design, right? So you've got sort of a home, an antagonist, a protagonist, a reward, a quest. Like all of these things start to get you in the flow of thinking about how to build your own game. I'm guessing you're under the water
Yeah.
or in the building. Can we recover from another building bug? I think Carl is taking a dirt nap physically. So we've got a couple bugs with the building placement that's popping you under the terrain, it looks like. So we'll start over and maybe do a different filter and a different choice. And since we're running through Crossroads for a second time, we can maybe do some more like things to create with and stuff like that.
Eric in the bakery really wants you to pick the bakery.
Oh, that's true. We gotta.
Okay, we'll do that.
I hope we get the fun voiceover line when we pick it.
We haven't done rivers yet, have we?
Oh yeah, we're not hearing.
No, you
We
didn't.
don't hear the sound, guys. So you gotta let us know how the sound is.
Team mountains.
We can have headphones in here and wear them, but it would mess up my ear, and I don't want to do that.
So it's unfortunate we had the bug where we couldn't grab desert, but
Yeah.
you can see how radically different like having the desert choice and different themes and stuff like that can really change things.
Is the voice Spark?
So the voice is actually not Spark. The voice is, and we talk about this, well, you'll see a little bit more when it comes to beta. There is an object in the background that is sort of the sun for this world. We call it the creation well. And Spark and everything comes from the creation well. So the voice is the creation well. And the creation well is there to help guide when you need it. And it also just does nothing when you don't need it to. So it is this entity where all creation comes from.
I've seen it.
Sweet.
You guys like evening?
Yeah, let's do that.
Alright.
The day is always nice.
Yeah, we've done some choreography in the animations and Connect. What we showed was a really early start, so things will get better and better and things like that. So you can definitely do things like start to choreograph your own fight scenes. You'll obviously get more. The deeper you go into those things, you'll get more complicated. So you'll have to put some timers and different cameras and transitions in those. But you could probably do a fun fight scene with cool hit reactions and stuff like that.
And what about the journalist at last week? From,
Yeah.
Was it from Polygon?
So
or
that was
wasn't
a cool
from-
story. I don't remember where it was, but we showed Project Spark at the San Francisco media event, and one of the journalists did something that I've done in this stream, reenacted a scene from the famous movie and did the Titanic scene. So did the kind of on the front of the boat.
I'm the
seat.
king of the world. Yeah. And it was really cool. And I mean, I think the article was, Project Spark, maybe the first game that allows you to basically play as an actor, right? Like, lets you be
So somebody asked if Spark is the son of the creation well. So we get into this a little bit more later on, and you'll see a little bit of this in beta. But think of Spark more like an agent from the creation well. And some of the interesting things about Spark is the Spark doesn't necessarily do everything the well wants Spark to do, and Spark sort of has a personality of his own. But we'll get into some of that stuff more.
Okay, so what I'm looking at here is another little bit of gameplay. I can pick up the divining rod, and this lets me walk around, and it'll tell me when I can dig under the terrain. And this time I found a fish bone, so that wasn't especially useful, but it's just another fun little mini game. So,
and that's another way to find things like coins and other surprises.
Yeah, wander around and look for stuff.
So Eric the baker, thank you very much for putting the bakery.
I did build the bakery. I don't have any money though, so I'm not going to bake anything quite yet. So this is the shrine in its original form, and I can come here and I can meditate, which gives me a little bit of a buff.
Something tells me that shrine is going to have a hard time soon.
Yeah, the
so it's a good thing you meditated earlier.
Not long for this world. Is there anything else we wanted to do in the town before we...
No, but I think, one of the things that you'll see as this evolves is you'll have lots of different choices around the towns and the starting thing. So, you can really make this sort of feel like your hero's home and a cool place to come back to and customize it. Unfortunately, one of the really cool side quests is the prison, is the sheriff. There's a little prisoner behind, and the little prisoner tries to get you to sort of help him and break out from jail and stuff like that. So there's a bunch of we throw this term around a lot, but there is a lot of emergent gameplay, and there is a lot of these little side things. So here Kim's kind of going to this little puzzle that she found behind one of the building choices, and then you're trying to open the box here.
Yeah. So I think this is an invention of the guy who lives. Yeah, guy who lives with me in the windmill.
Can you change the color of the grass on the terrain? Absolutely, you can change the color in just about anything you want. We showed a bunch of that through some previous streams, but the idea is that this is all about what you want. As deep, as hard you want to dive into this stuff, you can literally get down to like coloring the change of the character's shells, or changing the color of all the crates and the boxes in the world, putting names on anything you want. It's all about like the ultimate customization. In a lot of ways, we say a lot of our inspiration started with the idea of change the game, right? You have a lot of linear games, amazing set pieces, but you play through and you do what the developer wants you to do, and those are amazing experiences. But people want to express themselves, and sometimes they want to change the game. And Crossroads is a great example of that. You can dive in and recolor this whole world, paint it completely differently, and totally change that game. I want to hoard a squirrel so bad.
I do too.
Move over, you coming soon icon.
Goblins.
So we're going to go with the goblins?
Yeah.
They bring their own odor.
Goblins are jerks. They're here to...
I think they're just misunderstood.
polluting our shrine.
That's right. But the interesting dilemma is that you've got a goblin. So there are good goblins and good bad goblins.
Yeah.
And that, again, shows sort of what this whole... anything, give me anything you want. Good guys can be bad guys. Enemies can be good guys. You can turn these NPCs that you're seeing here into good guys, into bad guys. So some of the stuff you'll see that's been work in progress is we're working on some of the animation blending and smoothing. You can see now we've got some cool chain attacks that actually give you what we call root motion, so they're actually moving your character forward, so it's really easy to line up with things and cover the distance. And Carl is quite a beast, so he can tear through people. And you'll see that there's just a lot of gameplay improvements around the combat. Maybe we'll do another stream with Claude and dive into some of the combat stuff. So you'll see here, like the torches just have some behavior right there. This baker here that Eric the baker recommended is upselling their goods and wares here on the street, trying to get you to buy some of their baked goods. Well, that's true. Mike did ditch the hat, huh?
I'm gonna
Well, it's the Friday stream.
let
so
the
I don't
game
wear it.
choose for me here. So we need the mystery meat for some reason to help. Does he to purify the shrine here? So last time we did the quarry. Let's do.
A village consumed by fire.
Let's do the.
I think we have a slight spoiler alert with the druid shrine.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So with this.
So again, think of this again from that perspective of like all of this is always evolving as things get added, as stuff comes in. Maybe even the potential for some community creations to show up in Crossroads at some point throughout the roadmap and the plan. Not at beta, maybe much longer term. There's just a lot of possibilities here of how we can keep adding to this and have tons and tons of replay and cool things that you can always find that's new in Crossroads.
So you can see right here, I just triggered the first side quest.
Go straight past them. Well, only I would do that.
And get the other one.
So Kim is delivering. She's going to show the side quests.
And at any time, if at any time you're done drawing the path, you can just hit the A button and Spark will finish it for
All that
you.
begins, ends. Often
Which looks pretty cool.
battles.
Alright, so now I have my marching orders. And
Somebody was asking if they can shapeshift their characters. Yes, you can do a bunch of stuff to shapeshift your characters. We built some stuff with humans switching into squirrels. There was the Gamescom demo where we switched, I think it was a troll into a squirrel. You can do some really fun stuff around pushing brains that let you control different characters. You can do some really fun stuff around, maybe we'll show that at the end of the stream. I'll show something fun at the end of the stream that makes you maybe think a little bit differently about Project Spark and some of the stuff we've previously shown.
so here I'm picking some acorns off trees, and those will come in handy later.
Oh, little squirrel guy.
Hey you! How about
Give
you
an
want,
acorn?
do you want an acorn, little buddy?
Aww.
Oh.
So now he's going to tank for you too?
He is, and I just also found a coin plant, because you know those grow out in the
A
wilderness.
coin plant. I
You know,
love
I
it.
never
Yeah.
find those. I look all over the place.
I'm
I
still
think
looking,
like outside.
I'm still
like
looking
at
for a
lunch.
coin plant too.
Alright, so
When I was younger, I thought it was a bank, but boy, was I surprised.
They don't give you coins. They take them.
So, and there's little signs that help point you on your way when you get
So
a little
one of the
lost.
things we're not seeing in this build is enemies along the path.
Yeah, well,
So it looks like we've got a bug in this build, but the idea is that the path is really like generating gameplay as you go. It's dropping all these things in the world automatically for you. Enemies to fight, things to do, platforms to jump off of. So like that path and just drawing your game is really... Oh, there we go. We got enemies.
oh,
Yay!
yeah.
You were already to self down the
really-
river and
I
say it
was,
wasn't
yeah,
working.
no, I thought we
Oh,
were bugged
ye
out.
of little faith.
Whoa.
Carl is just that.
So the other thing cool about Carl is he has a little dodge roll on the B button, and that dodge roll also damages.
Oh, neat.
So you can do a bunch of fun stuff where you're attack, 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 and then slam into an enemy and then slam into another one. What is that?
So what we found here is
May that be a rock man?
he's a rock guy. Yeah, a rock golem.
Rocco.
Yeah, he says he's stuck. So he's asking for my help.
Oh! And here's a little mini game. Again, this gives you an idea of some of the cool things that are possible in Project Spark. That's built all with the game tools and everything. There's a little button press mini game like you see in a lot of games.
So he's very grateful.
How does a bear trap a rock golem? See, anything can happen.
Yeah, anything can happen.
Bye, rock golem.
So he gave me a bunch of coins. We're feeling pretty rich now. Anything over here? What's that?
What is that?
That's kind of neat. Like you just, hey, I don't know what's over here. Let's check it out. It's different every time.
Could you repeat the animation? Yeah, you can actually go into the character properties and say how many times you want the dive roll to play on a B button press. So you could probably do some fun type of mechanics and techniques off of the dive roll. And I don't know if we got it in, but we even wanted to see if we could set like a little pause after it and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different things you can set for it.
Alright, so this is our first side quest.
What'll it be? I think this is one of our fun loading bugs. So it could be anything. What do people want it to be while it loads?
Yeah.
What
Let's hear
could it be?
some guesses.
What kind of side quests would you want? It's coming.
Can Henry talk about sharing levels in DLC will work for those who don't own the same DLC? I think we're going to get into that.
We're going to get into stuff like that soon, I think.
I think we got it scheduled for next week to kind of talk about some of that stuff.
Yeah, we're going to talk more about just the whole experience and what you'll see in beta, and that should go through most of those things and sort of shake out just what to expect.
It might be Thursday's stream, but I'll check because I get the schedule back at my desk.
This is it's being shy.
Yeah.
It's really being shy. So
Well,
unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see one of the side quests. A beta key hunt side quest. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
That would be perfect. All right, so should we give up?
Oh, guys.
All right, it doesn't look like we're going to
This
get
is
a
why
side
we
quest.
can't have nice things.
All right.
That's why we can't have nice side
So
quests.
since we're wrapping up, I want to show some cool stuff around the overall sort of blank canvas, and some of the power of some of the different things that you can do with the characters. So some of the people were asking about, oh no, I'm going into Enter the Velociraptor.
Well, hey, if you haven't seen it, here's the
So if you
Velociraptor.
haven't seen Enter the Velociraptor, this is one of the things you can do, attaching the characters and animating them. So this was something that, we didn't build a dinosaur, we didn't put this in the game, but this is something that somebody was built internally as just a side fun thing to do, and they made a dinosaur. So I did not mean to go there, but there's a really cool
That
dinosaur.
was kind of funny. Hey, but we rolled with it. Like, hey, here you
All
go.
right, so let's go into the empty world and show something really cool that I think it's really easy and simple when you think about it. So I can go into this character. I'll show some of the properties actually, since some people were asking about this. I can go into some of the movement properties. I can change how fast they move, how fast they run, how high they jump, how they fly, how they swim. I can go into combat and I can sort of change all the properties around damage. There's some fun stuff there. We haven't shown this much, but you can see here I can go into the brain. It's pretty simple to get started. Very easily here you can see when on the when side, Y button, do shoot. And then we have stuff here like when X pressed attack. Well, as I talked about it before, it can easily recommend things. So I can just go to the modifier and I can build a little combo. So I can go when, light, medium, and sort of I can keep doing this. And then I can say end combo, which will give me a nice little stall at the end. So now, instead of my X button just giving me that light combo over and over again, you can see here I can go medium, and I can do a fierce at the end. And then that'll actually end my combo. So I can build a bunch of cool brawling stuff like this. But what I really want to show is I can easily pick up this character, and I can clone them. And one of the fun things about cloning these characters, and we may have shown a little bit about this before, jokingly about the Wonderful 101 is, when I do this, these all have my control. So you can see I can actually control all of these characters at once. And I can do lots and lots of fun things, switching between characters, controlling them all at once, and just doing a ton of crazy things with that. And you can see here, like a lot of people have talked about like an RTS or maybe something like that. Well, you can do something pretty quick and easy. So I'll go ahead and I'll swap this out to a boom camera, and I'll put a modifier on it. And the modifier is just going to go ahead and place the camera wherever I put it. So I can very quickly do that. And now you can sort of see I've got my little army walking around. Whoa.
We did this once with a stream with Jared, and he had his guys, whenever they hit something, they would split into two.
Yep.
Only he coded it wrong, and it kept going until it was about to crash the game. I think he had like millions of guys.
So I don't know if we've shown this, but somebody asked for a flash mob that dances. So let me go ahead and multi-grab most of these guys here. And I can go ahead and probably be better to use the keyboard because there's a bug on the controller. So let me go into the multi-edit, select all these guys really quick, and let me say delete. And now we've got our single character back. And somebody was asking about a dance, so let's go into this brain real quick, and let's do something really simple. So instead of shoot, I'm going to go into our brain here, and I'm going to say E mode. Now I could replace this with a connect animation. So I can do some really fun stuff there.
We don't have a connect here, so we can. We also don't have James
I'm
here.
going to go ahead and I'm going to say
Who's
dance.
our resident dancer.
So I'm going to go and say dance, and then I'm going to take this character.
Although Kim said she could dance, though.
I don't
I'm
remember
going to
saying
clone
that.
a whole bunch of them again.
I think I remember saying
James just completely steals the show.
Nobody can dance like James.
No.
Oh, I think that might have been your answer.
So go ahead and throw a whole bunch of characters in there. Go back to my little camera and then with the Y button. So there we go. So just about anything is possible in Project Spark. You can hop right in and play and use our characters and make some awesome stuff with Crossroads. Go to an empty world and make your flash mob dance. There it is.
Nice, good stuff. All right, guys, hope you like this stream. We're going to be back on Tuesday, and on Tuesday we're going to have E from the Xbox team coming in, and we're going to give him, he's never played the game, we're going to give him, put the controller in his hand, and we're going to coach him through over the course of 45 minutes, 50 minutes, just to kind of show the journey from someone who's never played it to where they're actually creating, just to kind of let you guys get an idea, and then we'll have that up on YouTube so people starting up can go and look and say, oh, okay, I get some of the concepts, so we'll do that. Thursday, hopefully we're going to be having some cool news, and I think we're probably going to do another stream next Friday as well, so you guys are kind of doubling up as we get closer and closer to the imminent beta, right? So follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and any last notes, guys? Kim, you wanna? How did Geek Girl? I don't think we talked about it. How did Geek Girl Con go?
Geek Girl Con. That was a few weeks ago. I guess almost a month now. That was amazing. We had a lot of people come by, guys and girls, and see Project Spark. And
But they were all geeks, though.
Get to check it out. I think you did have to be a geek to get in the door.
They had somebody checking.
That was required. But we had some kids playing. We had adults playing, and a lot of people who had never heard of or seen the game before. So it was really cool to get to talk to people about Spark for the first time.
No, sounds great. And anything else coming up for those? Like, you gotta let us know for any other ones. Like, we shouted that out. I know it's just Seattle. I know a lot of people are around, but
there's a lot of things like sort of in the works, but nothing confirmed yet.
Okay, so we'll let you guys know, and maybe come out, meet the team, and take a crack at it. Although pretty soon, beta's going to be out, and you guys will never talk to us or tune into our stream again because you're going to be too busy building your own and doing your own streams and stuff. But okay, guys, so I'll upload this video to YouTube fairly soon, so you guys can check it out. And we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Have a good weekend.